Hello, everybody. Good evening. 13th of August 2025. And we do have a special guest today, our dear friend Marina Steagal.
Hello,
And also,
everybody.
we do have Charles and Elsa with us. It's always good to be here. And our topic today it is the law of love, charity, and justice. I know this is one of the favorite topics of Marina, and we will have a great discussion here today. So, good evening, Marina. How are you, my dear?
I'm good. Thank you. It's good to be here today. Hello, everybody.
Hello, my dear.
Good. Good evening, Elsa. How are you, my dear?
I am okay, especially today that we have Marina with us and all our brothers and sisters that are entering the chat and talk to us. It's great. Thank you all for being with us. Hi, Charles. Hi, Stevan. And God bless you, the good spirits as well.
Good. Bonsoir, Charles.
Bonsoir, Steven. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Indeed, very happy to be here to talk about this subject, which is, I always say, the most simple things are sometimes the most complicated to understand and to put in practice, whilst they are the solution for a lot of our problems. So we will try to clarify a little bit this today.
Good. Good. Okay. As I said, our topic today it is the law of love, charity, and justice. And this englobes the moral law. And as we have in the Spirit's book, uh, the moral law base pillars are love, justice, and charity. These principles are not only spiritual guidelines, but also a practical tool we have for our social interactions now, social transformation, and also social inequalities. And today we will understand or try to clarify some questions like how can we live these virtues in our daily lives. So the main point today is what is the divine justice? This is right, this is wrong, why we need this inequality, why we need to go through all those things. And one of topics, at least Charlotte and I like a lot, it is when we face those challenges, when we leave those inequalities, the first thing happens to us is God is punishing me, God doesn't like me, and I like to start saying, as we always said here, there is no such punishment. We just suffers the consequence of our own actions. Based on this, Marina, uh, what's the relationship between divine justice and reincarnation?
Wow. Stevan, this is a beautiful topic. And if you allow me, I would like to just give a little introduction to this law because it calls for a lot of reflection. If you look, I think Kardec was brilliant, and I know he doesn't take credit for inventing anything because he said he only compiled, but he left a beautiful playbook for us in the way he organized, in the way he consolidated thoughts, thinking, and teachings of the spirits in a way that we can reflect and we can meditate. So if you look at the part 3 of the Spirit's book that talks about the laws, right? And we're going to get into the reincarnation, we're going to get into the law of justice, but there are many laws, right? It talks about the law here. You have the natural law, the law of worship, the law of labor, the law of reproduction, the law of preservation, the law of destruction, the law of society, the law of progress, and the law of equality, the law of freedom. And finally, you have the law of justice, love, and charity, as if this law encompasses all the other laws, right? So it's beautiful how it builds up, how we have so much to reflect on. I won't say to understand yet, because we're not in that place where we can live those laws, but we can think about it, we can ponder, we can consider it. And the law, it's interesting that it's compiled justice, love, and charity. And the question comes, what is justice? Is the respect for everyone's rights, right? That is what the Spirit's book says. Justice is respect for everyone's right. And when are we in a position to respect everyone's lives? When we love them, right? Every virtue is beautiful, it says here, but love and giving without expecting anything in return, that selfless giving, is the ultimate virtue, because that it encompasses the love. So I think there's so much for us to reflect into just looking to that. And the other consideration we can make in all the laws that I talked about that are in here, we don't see the law of cause and effect. We talk a lot about karma, we talk a lot about a cause and effect, but it's not here, because you just asked me about equality. Was it equality and the law of reincarnation that you asked about? What is the relationship with that? With that justice? Cause and effect is not a divine law. It is a side effect of the law of progress, because when we conform to the laws of God, we don't need punishment. We don't need any reaction. We just suffer consequences when we deviate from the law. And yet it's not to punish us. It's just to put us back on track. Like, try again, try in another way, right? This is what life is telling us. So instead of fighting life, the invitation is to embrace life. Because when we understand the divine laws, when we are in harmony with that creation that is all about love, then there's no need for suffering.
Beautiful. Very good introduction. See, we need you here.
Well, we are learning together, right? I think these are all considerations and this is the invitation, is that we study together, because it is these reflections that we get to learn and grow. And you made a point about our daily lives. It is a process, right? It is a process to looking at life as a place where we can attempt, where we can try, and where we can learn and grow. That is our opportunity. And opportunity is, instead of getting frustrated at life, which we usually get because things don't go the way we want, and we say, darn it, that's not what I wanted, it is to say, what is the lesson for me? What is life trying to show me now? And as we do that, and we do that in groups, and we do that talking to each other, because Elsa says something that I love. She says, together we make fewer mistakes, right? You always try to work together. In that attempt, that's how we learn, and that's how we grow.
It's the core for our spiritual evolution. These three words together is a tripod that make us stand up to evolve towards the light. There is no other way to put in practice how they can be evolved? How can I be a better person without using the law of justice, love, and charity? There is no other way, because each one represents a lot, but together the power is so powerful around really what we have to be the anchor for us. If you should understand properly what means each one and all together, the three words. Okay, okay. No one can buy power without knowing how to use it. Okay? The power of justice, love, and charity is amazing. Jesus said, so we know that.
Yeah, yeah. And Elsa, since you already talked about it, what's the uh, when the charity goes beyond the material assistance?
Something very important, because you see, God's justice is like the sun. It's for the rich, for the poor. No one can say, no, no, only the rich can have the sun, or only the poor can have the sun. No, it's a combination of everything, but no one can tap the sun above us. So is it the chapter 26, item 4 for the gospel according to Spiritism. So that I was reading today about the law of charity and justice. Justice caught my attention. And as a lot of mediums, we know that they try to do their best to give to for free what they receive for free. But there are others that they put their time in order to be a good medium, they want to be paid. And the justice between the ones that are giving for free and the ones that are paying for the course and the ones to the money back to live. And I was thinking, my God, what is this justice about that? If someone is only using the power to receive money and the others using the power, where is the justice in this situation? And it is clear, it's clearly clear the way that I was reading. If the selling favors by an earthly possessions regarded it is immoral. So we don't want to be as under the justice of love and charity. We are not using our inverted commas power of mediumship to sell things under this sun of life. We use indulgence for the ones that are doing it the way that they are doing. We don't criticize, we never judge, but we try really to learn and study and put in practice. Spread the word, as Jesus said, give you for free what you have for free. This is justice.
Yeah,
In a simple way. In a simple way.
true. Yeah, yeah. It is something very important to keep in our mind. And
I think
Charles,
they, sorry.
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
No, I'm saying, I'm thinking about the three words and the combination, what means charity, né? Indulgence, benevolence. And Charles always said beautifully the representation about the charity, benevolence, indulgence, and forgiveness. It's too beautiful. So indulgence as well. So it does not see the defect of others. That is amazing things that nowadays we see the effect of others, we publicize the effect of others, we talk about, we gossip, etc. But indulgence does not see the effects of others. Or if it does, it avoids talking about them or publicize them. We should be a very charitable person doing that, use indulgence. Indulgence and compassion, two words that people are not saying nowadays, not using in Portuguese at least, but even in English, because indulgence in English significa a different thing. Indulge yourself. If you like chocolate, okay, you can indulge yourself. but we are talking about in a moral and spiritual way, né? So
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh, that's good. Charles, is there any correlation between divine justice and reincarnation?
And reincarnation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we told about reincarnation several times. I mean, if God exists, he must be infinite in all his attributes, including his justice, his love, and his charity. So if God is infinitely just, sometimes we have difficulties to understand why there are so many differences and inequalities on earth. You have people who are rich, other one poor, people who are healthy, other one who is still childness deficient. You have people having opportunity for good education, others not. So indeed, there are all these inequalities on earth. But the problem is when we make our reasoning only on one life. If we make our reasoning on several lives, on reincarnation, the one who today is rich can be tomorrow poor in next life. The one which is today healthy can, or today deficient can be, or disabled can be perfectly healthy the next life. So the law of reincarnation is the only one who enables us to understand this infinite justice of God, seeing all these injustices, which are temporary injustices or situations that, by the way, a lot of times we have selected ourselves before reincarnating, and that we are passing all these difficulties we have in our life. But the reincarnations also give a vision of the future. We have a much broader view of all these things. Okay, in this life, I'm quite ill or not healthy or difficult material situation or whatever. But it's to help me to progress. And I know perfectly that in the next life, it can be absolutely the opposite. When I build strong enough in myself what is necessary not to slip into mistakes, because everybody says, no, I don't want to reincarnate poor, I want to reincarnate rich. Yeah, are you sure that the richness is very healthy for your evolution? For a lot of time, wealth is leading you to make excesses here and there, whatsoever. And when you think about, you would have progressed much more being poor than being rich. Okay, so because as I tell almost at every Wednesday here, all these material goods, the richness, the wealth, we don't take anything with us the day we go back to the spiritual world, not a single atom of our spiritual body. So indeed, as Elsa told, as the Marina also wonderfully introduced, what we can derive from this is this going towards this law of justice, love, and charity, building this into ourselves is the only way, only sustainable way for the future of the humanity on the earth. I may be a little bit strong what I'm saying here, but do you think if you are selfish, the people will not be selfish with you? Do you think if you are violent, the people will not be violent with you? Huh? No, we should really raise our voices for peace, for non-violence, for removing all the discrimination, for solidarity, for removing all this selfishness, pride, seeing all our human fellows as colleagues, as brothers. That's the only sustainable way. Imagine a world where everyone is putting in practice this charity, as Elsa just recalled, benevolence. You like the people to be benevolent with you, so be benevolent with the others. You like the people, the others, to be indulgent to you, so be indulgent upon the others. And the same for forgiveness. Do you like to be forgiven? So please forgive the others. And this is exactly, as Elsa also told, Jesus said it. Huh? Where is good and evil? Where can we find how to say, the criterion here? Huh? It's of course the criterion with the harmony or fulfilling the divine law, which can be also said fulfilling or being in harmony with the natural laws. Huh? But there is another criteria that indeed has been brought to us, amongst others by Jesus, which says, do unto the others what you would like the others to do unto you. The day we follow that, our world is completely different, completely. Even, you see, do unto the other what you would like the other to do unto you, even if they don't do it. Even so, do the good to them, even if they are not good to you, because that is then you push for something positive, which at the end will make everyone to follow. And then you can also say me, yeah, you told always about Jesus, what the hell is that, and so on. But Jesus was not alone to tell this. Huh? If you go, for instance, to Buddhism, when you go to Udana Varga, chapter 5, number 18, it said, do not offend others as you would not want to be offended. So it's a little bit different, but you see, it's exactly the same idea. Huh? You want more? You want the Quran, for instance, which is 1/3 of the world population. None of you are true believers until you love for your brothers what you love for yourself. You see? So again, exactly the same idea. Judaism. Okay, let's go. Hillel, Talmud, Sabbath 31a. What is hateful to you, do not do to your neighbor. I would really love the Jewish to follow this, particularly nowadays. Yeah? Confucius, Anacletus 15:23, do not do to others what you do not want them to do to you. Huh? Taoism, regard your neighbor's gain as your own gain and your neighbor's loss as your own loss. And one more, allez, Jainism, one should treat all creators in the world as one would like to be treated. You see, so we gave the example of Jesus, but wherever you go, you will find exactly the same idea. Because God is infinitely just, so he did not make favor to anyone. We are all equal in front of him. He did not give a privilege to the Christians and left the others forgotten. No, everyone has received through one way or through other all these teachings which are here to help us to understand better and to put in practice on ourselves this law of justice, love, and charity.
Beautiful. Thank you, Charles.
You're welcome.
Also, I want to say good evening to Luviem, Caterina Zamora. Thank you for joining us today. Let me see in the other room here.
When we think about the war, Stevan, people said, why? If God is justice, why he leave the wars happen in our planet, destroying things, a lot of people suffering, etc., etc. Charles always talk about this. And I'd like to add something, that under the light of Spiritism, being charitable towards those in power who cause wars does not mean approving it, their actions or remain in silence. It's the face of injustice. Know that there are a lot of things that are going on, but no one are victims in our world. Everything is related in a cause and effect, But doesn't mean that if we see injustice, I keep quiet. No, I try to do my best in order to help, to clarify, to help someone that, in my mind, is unjustice, and doing things, better things. Instead, it means responding without hatred. We don't hatred other people. We pray for them. The ones that are provoking wars, we should pray for them because we don't know their tomorrow. Yeah? We don't know what is happening with them because we have to remember their spiritual condition today and the condition that will be in the future. We're not judging, but according to the law of cause and effect, we know that the wars are always a moment of sadness for a lot of people, a lot of sufferings. If I'm here watching TV, eating something good, and see someone in the middle of the wars with no shelter, no food, I am not happy. I cry. I cry and I have to pray for them. But it's something that is an exercise that you should do. Because if I respond wars with a war of my mind, hatred, etc., we are putting petrol in the fire. So it is not good. We have to have the balance between justice and charity. What we have to do. We have to work on it. Still have to work on it. There is no other way in my mind to see the law of justice, love, and charity, what you should do. Oh,
Yeah.
love, charity,
Elsa,
and justice.
you rose a question at the beginning of her talk, and I think we should answer here. You asked, why does God let all these wars happen? I think it's very important to answer to this question because it's very easy to blame God. A lot of people have this tendency to blame the other, the neighbor, or whatever. No, it's not me, it's the other. We don't solve our problems but just by blaming the other. Even if sometimes there are some reasons or whatever, we do not suffer anything by lack of chance, as you said. But the wars are not done by God. God gave to the human beings the free will. We have the free will, so by definition, human can use this free will to do good or to do bad, up to his choice. So the war is not just, God is not leaving the war to happen. God is giving us a free will, and it's humankind using badly his free will, which is creating the wars. Okay? So we have to be really aware of this. Once a human being will improve, will become better, the war will disappear from our planet. And hope
think
this
that's
will happen as soon as possible now.
yeah, I think that's a very good reflection. Is we are in this planet because we vibrate with this planet, right? And we tend to vibrate more towards bad than good. And why am I saying that? Because if you turn on the news, it's all about bad stuff. We like to talk about tragedy, we talk about war. We don't like to talk about somebody that was very generous and gave a very, made a very charitable donation about the good works that's being done. That's not interesting. We like to talk about the bad stuff. We like to think about the bad stuff. And as we do that, because we know our thoughts are very powerful, we create that which we have affinity for. And I think what you both said it beautifully, in very beautiful ways, in different ways, Elsa and Charles, is what are we vibrating? What are we creating? So if I look at the news and I see somebody that did something bad, and I start hating that person, I'm participating on that whole frequency. But if I can, and it's a hard exercise because we're humans and we feel things and we see somebody suffering, and the inclination is to say, oh, is to react with indignation and then defense, but to say, poor soul that's doing that, and have a thought of prayer, a thought of goodness is a beginning of changing that. Because when everybody does a little bit different, the planet will be different. Right? So is how do we participate? Spiritism puts something very, very important. The purpose of our goal in this journey here in this lifetime is to develop and improve ourselves. But there's a second purpose, to collaborate to the improvement of others, right? So we're not alone. So that's why together is such an important word for us, because We
Yeah.
could easily go into a mountain and start, like meditating and transcend, but that's not the point. The point is we need to live here, to live together. Some people are very challenging to us. Some circumstances are very challenging to us. It's part of our journey. And in the journey, as we learn to love, we detach ourselves from what is bad, right? Because we are attracting the things in which we vibrate. So I'm thinking violence all the time. I pay attention to violence. I read all about violence. I'm attracting that to me. It will happen in my life. You manifest because that's what I believe and that's what I'm calling for. But I can also choose to change and have a different focus, a different purpose, right? We were looking at a story. It was a fascinating story. This woman was describing how she hated this experience she had in this particular city. So she went into this town that she never went in before, and she was run by a bicycle. So it was a bicycle riding, hit her, and she, was severely injured because she fell down, things fell on her, and all of that stuff. In the telling of the story, she also admitted that people stopped to help her. One stranger gave her a coat. One person called the ambulance. One person went and checked on her. People brought her food. So there were like 20 good things that happened. But she chose to remember that person hit her by the bicycle. Right? So within one bad thing, there were many other things. And her experience, her narrative was about, hey, I hate that town because people there are bad. Are there
Yeah.
people bad, or you had one experience in the middle of all these beautiful experiences? Is what we choose to pay attention to. What is the story that we tell ourselves? Right? What spin do we put into things? And I think that is something that is interesting for us to reflect, because as we see, as we change the way we look at things, the things that we look at will change as well. So many, many interesting reflections we can make out of that, right?
Wonderful, wonderful reflections. Go ahead, Elsa.
Together with the question why God allowed wars happens in the world, there's another question that a lot of parents, when they receive a baby with the deformities, or 2 months later, baby born, 2 months later discover a kidney cancer, a tumor, how this could be possible according to a material vision, earthly vision. God is injustice because we are sons and daughters of God. But if we try to understand the process, the law of evolution towards reincarnation, many existence, immortal life, we never die, etc., we come and go, that that will be the beauty, Marina said, and at one point that you should see the best one that happened with you, and you turn your face to the other side. But you say so many good things happen. So this moment when someone said, for us, especially when we come to a spirit center with a baby with deformity that's in hospital, come and go, it's a lot of sufferings for the parents, a lot of sufferings. But slowly, it's really gradually, they're coming one Sunday, another Sunday, buy a book, starting reading a book, see one live, one lecture, and start studying. So they see that they are heroes that offer their life to receive this spirit that need to come to reincarnate in this condition. Perhaps it's the last, as my husband said, that it was the last, inverted commas, penalty to pay for the past, to pay for himself, that it was the cancer in the brain tumor, and he died of brain tumor. But was the spirit said to him, it was the last reminiscence that you should accordingly to the evolution to undergo in order to cleanse and to have these wonderful antibiotics, a bitter one, bitter one, but that cleans your perispirit. That was beautiful. In the middle of the pain, you can see the beauty of the explanation of the Spiritism does for us and bring for us comfort, clarifying things, that we are never alone. We are surrounded by benefactors, but we should have faith of that and hope for a better days. Instead, claiming against God, they give me this their son or daughter in this situation, and I'm suffering now, blah blah blah, and think about euthanasia, things like that. No, no. Justice, love, and charity. These three beautiful words are a combination of the most important tripod that we have in our lives. The situation that help us to evolve in a different way, understand why we are suffering, not only because God doesn't like us or give the chance to be eh, a person healthy one side and another no healthy in illness. God is justice, God is love, God is charity, and God teaches us towards our own life, own way to live our life. But we have to seek for. Jesus said, seek and you can see.
Mhm.
We want to put insights in people's minds.
Yeah, yeah. Also, our friend here, Joana Mora, wrote a lot of things for us. So, Jesus said to pick up our cross and follow him. Our cross could be our body. The cross, the soul, has to incarnate into evolve on this planet, where we've come to expiation for our mistakes that we call sins, karma, etc. We are here to atone and try to correct our mistakes. He said we needed to be born again of water and clay, which is what our bodies are composed of. It's not a matter of whether we want to be born or not. We have to, in order to evolve, we commit crimes, we judge others, envy, are jealous, etc. We return to learn to love one another. We are born around those that we have wronged in previous life. We have to come and go through what we made others go walk a mile in their shoes, as Christ said. If you live by the sword, you die by the sword. That we do or did in previous lives will be done to us. Then we know that offer other person left. Every human has committed horrible crimes in previous lives, maybe in wars, a different things where there is matter of the heart, as part as sons and daughters.
Can I?
Thank you, Joanna. Thank you for your insights here for us. Kind of
I,
ratify what we are saying here today.
I want to offer a reflection to Joanna, if I can, if I may. And I am thank you for writing that. If I listen to the words, and I think that there's a lot of ways that we see things, which makes sense. I remember I think I was like 5 or 6 years old, and I was in school. I went to a Protestant school, and I remember we were not allowed to run during the break, but we were kids, so of course, we wanted to run because it was fun to, chase each other and all of that. And one day, I fell and I cut my finger. So, I when the teacher came and put a band-aid on, but she said, "See, you're not supposed to run. God punished you." And I was like, wow, I was like, if they see me, they don't let me run. And if they don't see me, God punishes me. That's a bad deal. But reflecting on that, that's a lot about how we think. We think about we have to pay for it. If you break somebody's leg, you're gonna have to a broken leg, or if you broke your leg is because in the past life you did that to somebody. And there is a connotation, and Emmanuel says that he says that our justice smells vengeance. Sometimes we even say that we see something bad happening to somebody, say, well done, they deserved it, they got what they deserved. And that is not the justice of God. That is the justice of man. The payment that, and what I mean is a subtle difference between the heavy load that we put on, we have to pay, we're sinners, we're here, that versus the law of justice means I love all of you equally. I give you as many attempts as you need to come to me. And I love you so much. It's like the father of the prodigal son. No matter how long it takes, no matter how many mistakes you want to make, I am still going to be here waiting for you. And when you come back, I'm going to be so happy. That is the introduction that Jesus gave to us of God. Is a loving father. And we struggle to see that because we're not at that place yet. So we still see the punishment. But basically, the law of justice says there are some laws of life. There are laws in the way things work. And whenever anybody deviates from the love, which is all about love, there's suffering. And the suffering is not there to punish you. The suffering is there to bring you back to me. And I think that is a subtle understanding that I think we still have to, and I see with myself, because let's have a reflection here. How would we feel if we truly believed in our hearts that there's justice? We don't need to worry about my neighbor did this and the stuff did that, and my colleague at work is not putting in on his hours. And if we know that there's justice, if we really believe in that justice, if we believed and we really knew in our hearts that there's only the law of love, that we were made out of this love, we're part of this love, we're all going to be coming to that love one day, and we're already really children of God, and we have this seed inside of us. And the law of charity says you can do everything for the others because all this goodness is going to come back to you. Wouldn't it be beautiful to live like that? Like the calmness, the peace, and the comfort. We don't need to fight life because look, this existence is not designed to punish us for anything. It's not the disease, it's not this thing, or I have this because I'm paying for this. And it is a design plan that was beautifully created to help us grow. And every challenge is an opportunity to say, what can I grow from this? What can I learn from it? So instead of fighting life, I'm embracing life. It doesn't mean that I shouldn't try to have a better life. We all should try to do everything we can. If we get sick, let's find the best treatment. If we have a challenge, let's solve it. If we have a problem, we're not happy in our jobs and our work, let's find a better one. We should always try to find better solutions, but also accepting some things from life in our hearts and not having that frustration, that resistance, that anger. So the invitation is looking from that lens, looking from the lens of love and aspiring to get to that love, because Jesus says, come to me, all ye that are heavy burdened, and I will give you rest. Come to me because my burden is light and my yoke is easy. And that lightness, I think that lightness coming from that mindset. But I'd love to hear what Charles and Elsa think about that too.
I mean, Joanna is basically right. It's the thing is, Jesus, he told in parables. So with images, with stories, because the people at that time to which I was belonging did not have the way to understand differently. We need strong images and so on. Now I think we have progressed a little bit. At least I think since 2000 I have progressed, not very much, but a little bit at least. We can understand the things better, you see, more subtle. We can understand better this law of cause and effect, seeing very simple way around us. We are free, for instance, to jump through the window or not. But if we decide to jump through the window, we fall down. We cannot say, oh, I jump through the window, but I don't want to fall down. The laws of nature are the same for everyone. So what we say as God punishes is simply the application of the natural law that we are falling down. God does not punish anyone. God loves all His creator, loves each one of us. So how can someone who loves us much stronger than we can even imagine, how can someone like this punish us? No, no. Also, we say sometimes God forgives. Why should God forgive? You should forgive when you are offended. Can God be offended? No. So why should God forgive? It's something automatic. It's not relevant for this. So we can understand better how it's really ourselves with what we are doing, not in harmony with the natural law, which make all this process automatic. And as you told Marina very well, it's like this we are learning is when we fail, when we made something wrong or we suffer an accident or whatever, is exactly we think about, hey, how can I do to avoid, to prevent, to mitigate, whatever. And this is exactly how we evolve. huh? But it's also not a given we must suffer to evolve. No, some people, they go and think and listen, and they can avoid a lot of mistakes and avoid also a lot of sufferings. huh? So we can understand this in a much smoother way than that huge, strong way that was in the past. And that's even up to today. The interpretation of the Gospels or even of the Quran or whatever is done by human with the limitation of human. But when we go really in the depths, as we can see it from Joanna's posts, we can understand today much better. He was right and said it in that way at that time. But we understand better how this is helping us to progress, how this is helping us to become better, how this is helping us to move towards happiness.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And guys,
And
we have a question here.
another idea, very quickly. A lot of times we shout because we suffer an injustice. There is a very simple way to think about it. What is the easiest or the lightest for your conscience? To suffer an injustice or to commit one? The answer is obvious.
The
If you
words of
suffer an
Socrates.
injustice, your conscience is much lighter than when you commit one. Very simple.
Yeah.
Very good.
So we have a question here from Veronica Jenkins. Could I ask each of you what your view, your relationship with God to be, please?
The question is, what is our individual relationship with God?
Yes, that's my understanding here, Veronica. Uh, uh,
God is our Father, is our Creator. He is infinitely just, infinitely fair. His love is infinite. That's it. So the relationship with God, we don't need to go to the church or any church to pray God. We can go directly to Him. My Father, help me. Well, this is already a prayer, and it will be attended. It will be attended. So God, the relationship with God is like this. It's the best friend we can imagine, and He's even better than the best we can imagine.
yeah, and at the same time, we need to think the God we are talking about here, Veronica. It is not the God. Probably, if you have had a Catholic background, that fat man, white beard, sitting on a chair. Judge, God here, it is the relation. God could be a woman, could be it, Mother Nature, like I'm in Ireland, Celtic. the Celtic teachings here is very strong. So modern nature. So what we talk about here it is okay. I do accept there is something who created, and this is very profound because okay, I assume someone created. But who created this guy who created the universe? Oh, if we have someone who created, that it is God. Because God, it is the first thing of everything. It is question number one of the Spirit's book. It is the first cause of everything.
I
That's
love
God.
that question. Yeah.
That's God. And that's the relation you need to have. So it's you within your God.
Yeah.
Uh, Can I remember now one dialogue between the Apostle John when someone asked John, what does God means to him? He said, if you don't ask me what God means, I know it. But you ask me, I don't know. So that's something that is inside us, in our conscience, that's here. So we know, we have this faith that we know that God exists, create everything, and we learn according to Spiritism easily to understand the first cause of all things, or the primary cause of all things. That is, but is inside us, is intrinsic in our spirit that we have this God, Father, Mother, God. But try to explain God in a way that no scientist, no the powerful technologies or the things can describe God better than Spiritism does. Right?
Yeah.
What is God, not who is God. So it's starting well. But talk about charity. Charities as we can do an act of kindness every day, small things. We are doing charity. We are under the justice, love, and charity because you only love when you put in practice charity and justice. You only have justice when you put in practice charity and love. Otherwise, it will be difficult really to do justice, to understand justice without doing good towards others and try not to hate others as the others are hating you. Towards others, with no judgment, condemn the, the problem and not the soul, the person, the things that they are doing in our world, for example, war that we spoke about war, but to be kind, to not judge, try to love as much as you can, to understanding others, give a hand to someone, call, on a funny call to someone that had an operation, is alone at home, receive a call, visit someone that's ill or preparing to have an operation, or give support to someone that is unbalanced, emotional, spiritual. So offer help, offer prayer, pray together, and send an audio prayer for someone. It is something good to do towards others. And we can live a better life because the ones that are sending love, sending goodness towards others are the first one to receive back all these good things that the inverted commas universe, that is God, send it to us. That's right.
Beautifully said, Elsa. I think, Veronica, I'll say quick because I think we're running out of time, but I will respond in two parts. One is the view of God, and the other one is the relationship with God. And when I was a kid, I was very inquisitive. So I was asking one day a lot of questions to my mom. My mom, where's God? Where does he live? Can you take me there? See. And my mom is saying, I can't. No, you can't see God. No, but I want to see him. I want to go there, if there's this. And she said, you can't understand God. And I'm like, why not? And she said, and we had ants in our backyard. And she said, you see those ants here? You can see the ant, but the ants cannot see you. And if you step on the ant and if you kill it, you won't even know why it died. That is the relationship with God. It's like you are the answer to us as we are to God. You can comprehend, you can understand. He's so intelligent, he's so big, he's so supreme that you just cannot know it. And that's the way that she got me to stop asking the questions. And how I reflect on it today is if I were to enter a factory, if I saw a factory that it was empty, but I saw the machines were placed with a lot of intelligence and they were connected to each other and they were designed in a way that you had a one-piece flow and everything was done in harmony, I would say somebody did put this together, because it's not just a coincidence. If I look from the little we know about the universe, about the planets, about the constellation, about ourselves, about the reproduction of ourselves, about how our body functions, about all the things, there's so much intelligence that it can be a coincidence. So I don't know God, but I imagine God. And the beautiful thing about Kardec, because when people say, I like Spiritism, but I don't like religion, I'm like, you cannot read past the first word, the first question of the Spirit's book, because it's what is God. Kardec doesn't humanize God, as Stevan put it, but it makes us close to our comprehension, because it says the supreme intelligence, primary cause of all things. It's not a human. We are humans. We're creators. God is that which we cannot understand yet, but we can imagine God. How do we relate to God? Practicing faith, humility, and love. We know that we know a little bit, and we can pray to say, you know more than I do. You are my creator. Guide me. I believe in you. Right? We can say that. And in that practice, as Kardec said very beautifully, as spiritists, we aim for a moral transformation. We attempt to become better every day. And we know that as we do that, we come closer in harmony with God's creation, God's laws of God, and therefore we'll be happier and more fulfilled.
Thank you, Marina. So, if you have problems with God, put God aside, but stay with Jesus. It's more tangible, especially with the moral teachings from Jesus. And in the right time, you're gonna reach God. I know we are over time here. Veronica put another question. Has Marina, Elsa, and myself already replied these, and Charles was quiet. Charles, would you mind to answer the question from Veronica, and we wrap up here? She is saying, what would you see your relationship with your own spirit to be then?
Again, if I understand well the question, I am my spirit. My spirit is incarnated in this body. This body is giving some, like a box, or some people say it's a prison, which limits a little bit the way of expression of my spirit. But what you see coming out of me is my spirit. So sometimes I was laughing because some people, these people always blaming someone else. I saw one day one guy saying, it's not my, I'm not guilty. It's a problem of my spirit. I was exactly laughing because no, you are your spirit. You cannot escape from it. Even in a limited way, in a kind of a prison, which does not allow the spirit to express itself fully. We are our spirit. Our conscience is what our brain is able to express from our spirit. The conscience is in the spirit, the intelligence, whatever. And then part of it, the brain is able to transmit and to transduce a part of it. And but how to say, the brain is like a radio, receiving a signal and then putting it in a loudspeaker. our brain is just a transmitter of the intelligence of our spirit, but the conscience is in our spirit, not in our physical body. And it survives to it. When our physical body dies, people even ill like Alzheimer or other type of diseases, it's not an illness of the spirit. It's just a brain which cannot transmit, like the radio when it gets old, it cannot transmit as well what it receives. And that's what we should be aware. We are our spirit, and our aim, our goal, primary goal in any reincarnation is every day of our life to try to to progress, to become better, to acquire more knowledge, intelligence, and to be a better person, to acquire also goodness and morality. That is the purpose of our life. This is why we incarnated, and this is what we have to work every day, little by little, but with perseverance.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you. Thank you for your insights. Let me
If I
go
understood the
to.
question well, maybe I misunderstood the question.
No, I understood the same way you did, my friend. Uh, she said, "I believe my spirit is within me whilst in my body, but I believe my spirit is also part of the spirit of God. God being the whole of all of us at the ultimate essence of everything." Mary Bless was
Better.
interesting to hear your views. And Veronica, I also invite you to go to Spirit Center. I don't know where you live, but Spirit Center, probably where you live, must have one, so you can have more thoughts, idea, studies as well, and you can also even ask more questions.
Even we can maybe die a very short answer. Our spirit is not a part of God, it's a creation of God. So it's different. Like a machine is not a part of the engineer, it's a creation of the engineer. You see? So this is what we have to understand. We are a creation of God with all the potential God has given us, but we are not a part of God, we are the creation of God. It's, by the way, philosophically the question of pantheism.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, let me share our announcements here. So,
Oops. What happened with Stevan? Clicked on the wrong button. I think he will come back.
I think only Steven can end the meeting.
No, he will come back for sure.
yeah, I pressed the wrong button here.
Exactly.
Oh, gosh, sorry.
Thank you all. Mas
Okay, so next week we have our friend Rodrigo Ortega from Spain joining us, and the topic is faith that move mountains. Very good topic as well. In September, we will have the International Spiritist Congress, Joana de Angelis. You have the QR code to enroll. That is still open places. Spirit Center of Peace holds every Wednesday at 12 o'clock. Study group online, heaven and hell, according to Spiritism. So the Zoom link and everything, it's sharing in this for you. Every Saturday, 10:30 a.m., we do have the Mediums book study with Charles, Munir, and Guilherme. QR code to access the room, it's also provided here. Allan Kardec study group holds a studies a Spiritist course in English, the Spirit's book, the Gospel According to Spiritism, every every Monday from 7:15 to 8:45 p.m. This is a in-person meeting in Friends Meeting House in London. Spirit Society of London also holds Spirits Study Online at 7 p.m. every Tuesday. Also, the Solidarity Spiritist Society holds a weekly meeting with young people. So, if you want to be part of this group, please email office@buzz.org.uk. Buzz newsletter is on now, so you have access. Read the Spiritism magazine. Also, our friend Dana Sisi have the Spiritism radar. If you want to subscribe, you will receive Spiritism news in English. Also, our friends Sembradores de Luz, they are doing a very good program, Project Germinate, which starts teaching Spiritism even for babies. So it's a wonderful project. I invite everyone to see it. Cardiac Bot is also available in ChatGPT. Keep listening Cardiac Radio, and thank you for your time. Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Marina.
Thank you.
I
Thanks, everybody.
I won't say it because so many people here. It's a lot of, but I want to say to from the bottom of my heart, thank you for all the questions, all the comments, and Marina, you're always good to be here with you. Thank you.
A
Good to be here.
Muslim, Spiritist Muslim here with us as well.
Yeah.
God bless.
Thank you. Bye bye. See you guys.